stop. Before you even think about transferring a single penny into your TFSA on January 1st, you need to hear this. You know, in just a few days, the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, hits the reset button on everything. We're talking new room in your TFSA, new room in your RRSP, and another $8,000 for your first home savings account. It's that fresh start we all wait for. But here's the catch. This year, the inflation adjustment has created a nasty little math trap, and if you rely on the old members, or just assume your limit is the same as everyone else's, you could accidentally trip the CRA's 1% monthly penalty tax on day one. And I really don't want you to pay the government a cent more than you have to. So, I've built a 6-part compliance checklist to make sure you are totally CRA-proof by New Year's Day. We're going to walk through these 6 checks rapid fire. If any of these apply to you and you can't check the box, seriously, hold off on that transfer until you're absolutely sure. Okay, first up on the checklist, new limit math. Let's get this right so you can avoid what I like to call the John trap. All right, for 2026, the new official TFSA annual limit is $7,000. Now you might be thinking, where does this number even come from? Well, it's not random. The CRA takes the base limit, they adjust it for inflation, and then they round it to the nearest $500. Since inflation has cooled off a little, the limit for this year has settled right at $7,000. But listen, that $7,000 is just the new slice of the pie. If you're someone who's been eligible since this whole thing started back in 2009 and you've never put in a dime, your total cumulative room is now a whopping $109,000. Just think about that for a second. That's a tax-free retirement machine that the government can never, ever touch. But this is exactly where things can go sideways. This is the John trap. So picture a guy named John. John's a smart investor, or so he thinks. He sees the headlines, knows the limit went up. So on January 1st, bright and early, he dumps $10,000 into his TFSA. Feels great about it. Thinks he's being proactive. What John didn't realize is that his personal limit was actually lower because of a withdrawal mistake he made 2 years ago that he completely forgot to track. By the time the CRA finally mails him that dreaded letter in June, he's been over-contributing for 6 straight months. Now he owes hundreds of dollars in penalties plus interest, and that's money he is never getting back. It is literally setting cash on fire. So here's the absolute number 1 rule. Do not blindly trust the CRA dashboard on January 1st. Why? Because the system lags big time. Look, if you make a contribution on December 28th, your bank takes a few days to process it. Then they send the data to the CRA, and then the CRA has to update their system. That whole process can take weeks. If you log in on New Year's Day, the number you see on that screen might just be wrong. You have to keep your own records. Trust your own math, not their website. Okay, with the math sorted, let's hit our second checklist item, the FHSA free money pool. A lot of people think this account is just for buying a house. That is totally wrong. Think of it as a tax-deductible investment account that's basically an RRSP on steroids. Now here is the critical loophole that so many young Canadians are missing. The FHSA gives you $8,000 of room every single year. But unlike the TFSA, that room does not build up automatically. You have to physically open the account to start the timer. And this just shows it perfectly. So the Smart Starter opens an account on December 31st, even if it's with $0. Just by doing that, they bank $8,000 of room for 2025. Then, on January 1st, boom, they get another $8,000. That's $16,000 of tax-deductible room ready to go. Meanwhile, the procrastinator waits until January 2nd. And because they didn't have an account open in 2025, the CRA gives them 0 room for that year. They literally lost $8,000 of tax-sheltered space just by waiting 48 hours. So, here's your homework. Even if you have $0 to put in, go open an FHSA right now. It takes 5 minutes on your phone. You do not have to fund it. Just open it. And hey, if I just saved you $8,000 of contribution room, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells the algorithm to warn other Canadians before this deadline passes. All right, checklist items 1 and 2 are done. Your accounts are open. Your limit is calculated. Now, what do you actually buy? This right here is where 90% of Canadians go wrong. They put the money in the account and then they just let the bank tuck them into a mutual fund with a 2% fee. Or even worse, they leave it in cash earning absolutely nothing. Do not, and I'm going to repeat this, do not let the bank take 2% of your money every single year. That tiny little fee will eat up 40% of your total wealth over a 25-year period. You need to own the market, not try to beat it. My whole strategy comes from the book The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. Now, full disclosure, J.L. Collins is American. So when you read the book, you're going to see him talk about 401ks and a fund called VTSAX. Just ignore the American terms for a second. The math, the philosophy, it's universal. He teaches you that trying to pick stocks is a loser's game. The real path is to buy the entire market and just hold it forever. So here in Canada, we just translate his advice. It's simple. We don't buy VTSAX. We buy something like XEQT, which holds the whole world, or VFV, which holds the S&P 500. The concept is identical. You get super low fees, under 2%. You get broad diversity with thousands of companies, and you do zero tinkering. You buy it, you hold it, and you ignore the noise on the news. You know, I recommend this book less for the stock picks and more for the psychology. It teaches you how to stay calm and not panic when the market inevitably drops. And if you don't want to buy the physical book, here's a little hack for you. You can grab the audiobook for free using an Audible trial. Just listen to it on your commute. Let the mindset sink in. If you don't like it, you can just cancel the trial. You pay nothing, and you still get to keep all that knowledge. Honestly, it's the best return on investment you'll get all year. All right, we're halfway there. Checkbox number 4 is the rollover trap. Now, this one applies if you're planning to take money out of your TFSA for something like bills or a vacation. The rule is simple. Whatever you withdraw, you get that room back, but not until January 1st of the following year. Here's the trap. Let's say you need $5,000 for an expense in January. If you're smart, you pull it out before December 31st. If you withdraw on December 30th, the CRA sees that withdrawal happened in 2025. Then, on January 1st, 2026, just 2 days later, they give you that $5,000 of room back immediately. But if you wait and withdraw on January 2nd, you don't get that room back until 2027. You are literally locked out of that tax-free space for a full 365 days. So take a look at your bank account today. If you think you'll need cash in January, pull it out now. Okay, on to box number 5. And this is the one most people forget about until it's way too late. This is the beneficiary audit. You know, January is the perfect time to check your digital paperwork. Specifically, you need to look at who is listed as the heir to your TFSA and RRSP. Most Canadians log in. They click beneficiary, they type in their spouse's name, and they think they're done. That is a huge mistake. If you list your spouse as a beneficiary, when you pass away, the account effectively collapses. The investments get sold, the tax shelter disappears, and your spouse has to use their own contribution room to re-shelter that money. It's a mess. What you need to do is change that setting to successor holder. A successor holder just takes over the account. It's a seamless, clean transfer of tax-free wealth that doesn't affect their personal room at all. So, do this right now. Log into your brokerage account. Go to your settings. If you see the word beneficiary next to your partner's name, change it to successor holder. It takes literally 30 seconds, but it could save your family thousands of dollars in probate fees and taxes down the road. And finally, box number 6, the master recap. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's lock all this in before you click away. Here is your rapid-fire compliance checklist. First, calculate your own personal limit. Remember, $7,000 is the new room, But what really matters is your total room. Do not trust the CRA's dashboard in early January. Second, open that FHSA by December 31st, even with $0 in it. Just get it open to bank the room and start that clock. Third, once you've funded your accounts, ignore those high-fee mutual funds from the bank and stick to simple, low-cost, all-market ETFs like XEQT or VFV. Fourth, be smart about your withdrawals. If you think you're going to need cash early in the new year, pull it out in December, not January, so you get that contribution room back way faster. And fifth, please do that 30 seconds beneficiary audit. Log in and switch your spouse from beneficiary to successor holder to protect them. If you can honestly check all 5 of these boxes, then congratulations. You are compliant, and your savings are safe for the year ahead. And just the standard quick reminder, this is all for educational purposes. It's not official financial advice. Everyone's situation is a little different, so please review your own numbers or chat with a qualified professional before making any major moves. Now, to make sure you absolutely crush it in 2026, make sure you're subscribed. And now that you've got the new limits all sorted out, you need to avoid the deadly mistakes that can destroy your returns. So, click right here to watch the 8 common TFSA traps. It's going to save you thousands in penalties. I'll see you in the next one.